So, welcome to our very first podcast. Today we have a co-host. His name is Kon. Kon, welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Today we're going to be focusing on the World Cup, 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Exciting times.
Yeah, and we already have the U.S. national team gear, and we have the brand new 2026 FIFA World Cup official ball. But we're gonna go way behind and like started seeing different things. We're gonna talk about some topics that might be a little bit uncomfortable. Uh, that's regarding corruption and other involvement of politics in football and other sports. And you know, we play football together, and we grew up playing it, and we saw all the World Cups, growing up, and the good old times. There was no political involvement. It was just pure sport, and then every country is allowed to participate, and whoever qualifies will qualify. Whoever didn't qualify doesn't qualify. But other than that, there was not like there's no outside politics. Influence from countries to banning football teams and all that kind of stuff. So especially were you born in the U.S. or
No, I was born in Russia.
Russia?
Yep,
Okay,
I was
so
born in
you're the
Russia.
right person. Because Russia is one of the countries
Russia is one of the countries
that
that
was
is
banned by FIFA and UEFA.
correct.
So we'll talk about that. So to begin with, um, how football should be, played moving forward, because football is something that unites the world. That's the most popular sport. So Americans call it soccer. Let's call it soccer for today, so that we can avoid some confusion.
Well, we are wearing the U.S. jersey, so we'll call
Yeah,
it soccer.
of
just for
course,
today.
and we both Americans right now, so definitely we have to use that term. So soccer unites the world, and it's the most popular sport in the entire world. So that being said, involving other things like politics with this definitely ruins the power that football or soccer has to unite the world. And so let's talk about FIFA. FIFA, as you know, like it's the richest organization,
Oh,
sports
yeah.
organization
Absolutely.
on the planet, and FIFA has been in different scandals,
Yeah,
including bribery,
absolutely.
and recently they got involved in politics, and so there were like multiple investigation done, including by the FBI, and some members of the FIFA were actually cooperating
Yeah, I
by
think
being
they
informed.
indicted, I think, 15 or more
Yes.
senior officials from FIFA.
So it's funny because one of the guys, Chuck Blazer.
Yeah,
Chuck Blazer is was an American FIFA official, and
I think he was head of CONCACAF, if I remember correctly. Was he?
I don't know his specific role in FIFA, but I know he was in FIFA, and definitely he was part of the corruption. He also admitted and cooperated with the FBI investigation, and then later on, actually, he even was willing to wear wire and like expose his colleagues. And Chuck Blazer, he's an American guy, and surprisingly, when he during the cooperation, he was living at Trump Tower in New York City. He was paying $18,000 a month on that apartment. He can afford it because all that money, right?
Somebody else.
So
paid for it.
allegedly, so we don't need a lawsuit. We are getting all this information. It's our public, and allegedly, that happened. So I think the major scandal started. The investigation like took a turn around 2015. But later on, because they already decided who's going to get the 2018 and 2022 World Cup, who's going to be the host, and of course 2018 Russia won that one, won that bid, and 2022 was won by Qatar.
Yep.
And both of the times there's scandal, like huge bribery was happened. So because of that, there was like a massive investigation, including it goes all the way to the French Prime Minister at the time, Nicolas Sarkozy. He has a connection with the football legend Michel Platini, who is also a voting member of FIFA, and also, of course, the Qatari government body was involved with that. According to Chuck, I watched it on one documentary. He was also claiming that there was like a duffel money coming in a duffel bag, so they were even like using money from the duffel bag. Like they have to spend money by cash because it's untraceable and all that kind of stuff. And there was also one whistleblower from the Australian Football Association, and she actually exposed a lot of things. One of them things she exposed is FIFA was asking countries to pay up to like $85 million just for bidding. Imagine, like, there's nothing involved. Just bidding, and that doesn't involve any bribery or anything.
Right.
So some countries pay 50 million, some countries pay 85 million, and even countries paid that kind of money. They were not even guaranteed, to win the bid. So they still have to bribe every single, member of the FIFA voting. Not all of them, but allegedly, I think there were a handful of people, were taking some money, bribes from countries. So that corruption, of course, created a big crisis in FIFA, and also, of course, people, stopped believing in the organization. Fans were disappointed, but there's nowhere to go, right? There's only one FIFA.
Only one organization. Right?
Yeah, and of course, FIFA felt a little bit strong, and even remember, like I played FIFA video game growing up, right?
Yeah.
And recently it has changed. I think 2022, I believe, it became FC.
Yeah.
Because they dropped the name FIFA.
Yeah.
Because FIFA decided to double their licensing fee.
Yep.
Like I think from 150 million to like 300 million. And then EA Sports at that time said, you know what, we're just going to drop the name, and then we're going to make our own deal with the leagues. So they have a deal with the English Premier League, a deal with La Liga, of course, Serie A. And if you notice, some of the teams, their name is not there, like their logo and name. For example, Inter Milan is not written as Inter Milan. It was like Lombardia FC. So what they did is, I did a little bit of investigation on that, the research. Those teams signed exclusive rights with other gaming companies.
Yeah.
So if they agree with EA Sports, they will violate that agreement.
Right.
So to keep that agreement, what they did is they didn't allow the EA Sports to use their name and logo. Instead of that, they just create, a fake or generic name, and then Lombardia FC or whatever, it has a snake logo, all that kind of stuff. So, but still the players are the same players, because the way it works is soccer players, they have one union.
Correct. Yeah, they have the Players Association.
The association.
Separate contract.
Separate contract, exactly. It has like about 65,000 members.
Yep.
And then you just have to sign a deal with them, and then you get all the players. That's a good deal. So pretty much EA Sports decide to do that, and FIFA is like kicked to the curb. And surprisingly, FIFA signed a deal with another company, and they created a new game which is available on Netflix to play it with your phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know how entertaining that will be. We know how FC is. It's like very interacting, nice game, playing it online. And I don't know how good is this Netflix game is gonna be. We'll see. Anything is possible these days, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So the other organization is UEFA, so which is the governing body of like the Champions League, and UEFA is also they don't have that much of bribery scandal, but of course
that we know of.
that we know of, yeah, of course. Even FIFA, these days, we don't know any bribery happening, right? And I don't think there's happening, because after the FBI's investigation, it was, they turned them upside down. So pretty much they kind of like changed it. But morally, I believe in my opinion, it's still corrupt. Because the reason that I would say is the current president, Gianni Infantino, uh, you know, Trump wanted to get a Nobel Peace Prize, and he didn't get it. And then the FIFA president just, you know, just created one, you know, out of thin air. FIFA became like this
Well, yeah,
new organization,
exactly. Now we're handing out peace prizes.
the Peace Prize, you know. And then of course Trump is happy with that. And of course, United States is awarded to host the FIFA Club World Cup, and also consequently, of course, the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Mexico and Canada. And did that bid happen fairly? We don't know, because once you get investigated by a country like FBI is a Federal Bureau of Investigation, of, you know, which is a in United States government, right? Once you get investigated by that, definitely you're gonna give that, you know, you're gonna select that country. We don't know that, but
we don't know.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, from what I see, I'm just assuming, right? There's no evidence, of course, but I'm assuming, like, once you get investigated, it makes sense. Like, you kind of like, you know, you give in. You know what I'm saying? And it just happened back to back, and of course, you saw what Chelsea won. That one, and Trump was on stage. They were telling him to get off, and he refused to do that, and he became part of history. So, and I think the Qatari World Cup kind of opened a lot of, you know, people's eyes are open on Qatari World Cup, because the bribery scandal happened, and then, you know, media started talking, and at that time, what happened is Qatar didn't have that much chance, because it's super hot on during summertime. It's impossible to, you know, play football on, like, on the afternoon in Doha at the time. So what they did is they changed. Actually, the last World Cup happened in winter time. They made it in November.
Correct.
So even in November, Qatar is hot. So the Qatari government took a drastic measure, right? So what they did is they only had one stadium. Imagine, one stadium qualified for the World Cup, because, you know, the seat numbers and everything is required. And but guess what? They built 8 stadiums, and all of them are fully air conditioned. They they built roads, metro stations. They connected everything, including they created a new city.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they created one new city. What was the name of the city? And okay. Luciel. Luciel is the name of the city they created, in one of the stadium. Actually, where the final game played between Argentina and France in Luciel. Yeah. So it's just they spent over $220 billion. So who's gonna compete with that? No other country can offer that, right? And the other thing is, even the 2006 World Cup, Germany was also Germany's involved in bribery, allegedly. So this can go, you know, way back. So the other one is the Russian. What do you think of, like, the Russian ban? Like, you know, the war started.
Well, I mean, in a way, it is a little bit unprecedented, right? Because why ban? Why was it a ban, and then whose authority was the ban, right? Who are you trying to punish? And like you were saying earlier, you know, when the FIFA starts handing out peace prizes, right, and banning countries based on political events, are you like a football governing body, or you're just a general governing body at that point, right? How do you make those determinations? I think what they did is they opened the door to all kinds of criticisms from now on, right? Because now with this decision, now you have to make other decisions, right? So now you're under criticism for allowing Israel to still participate, because you banned Russia, but you didn't ban Israel. And, you know, I don't think it even matters which political side you're on, but there's no consistency now, right? You made one arbitrary decision, and now you're going to have to answer for all the other ones.
Yeah, definitely. Consistency is a problem. If you ban one country, you have to ban the other, because, you know, according to them, atrocities happen here and there. So, and the funny thing is, like, Gianni Infantino has been asked about it, about what's happening in Palestine and why is Israel allowed to play. and his response was funny because he said, FIFA cannot solve geopolitical problems. I'm like,
Right, but you just exactly.
he just did.
But you just did. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
try to do it.
It's just funny because English Premier League is so all teams were like told to wear the Ukrainian flag on their armband.
Correct. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
It's an interesting take on that.
It is. So don't take me wrong. Like I'm not against Ukraine or anything, right? But that's for, and we're gonna save that for another episode because it's its own topic. Today we're trying to talk about football, and we're trying to separate it from with politics, and we're not
Right.
gonna get into that part. But definitely, it's it's not fair what's happening. So actually, UEFA, it only took them 4 days to ban Russia. 4 days. What kind of decision do you?
Right. So there's no committee. There's no right. So
It's just interesting. And actually, FIFA was a little bit lenient, by the way. So UEFA kind of started it, and FIFA wanted to let Russian players to play under a different flag or something,
which to me, I don't understand this either because
Yeah.
the same thing happened with Taiwan, I believe, right? That they couldn't play against play under their own name at that time because of China.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you're going to start, like, either they're going to play or they're not going to play, right? They're going to play under somebody else's name, just like the Olympics did with Russia. They couldn't play as Russian. They couldn't participate as Russian athletes. They had their own something international. I forgot what it was, but which was silly because we all knew it was Russian. So then just leave it. I think at that point.
Yeah, it's just interesting because at that point, they just fully dived into politics and like took sides, and which is unfair. And of course, we're gonna leave that for another topic too. And with the whole sanction with Russia, and then of course, Abramovich used to own Chelsea,
Correct. Yeah.
and then they forced him to sell, and they seized the money. I think he recently won the court, order. For the money, but it was seized for a long time.
Yeah.
Money, you can invest it, and then you can be like, especially at that level, that they can fold it through 3-4 times by now. But anyways, at least he won that judgment, which is fair, I would say, because just because somebody's a businessman from a certain country,
Correct.
and then you have a relationship with the government, that doesn't mean that you're gonna, pretty much everything is gonna be seized.
Well, I think it was more because it was high profile. Because if you really look, everything's so intertwined around the world. You have business relationships in almost every country. If you go, I honestly, I went to Trinidad not too long ago, and there was a Russian presence there just because of oil. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Abramovich had a big presence and a big name, and I think it was done again, like you said, politically, to kind of show their might.
Yeah, I think it's they're trying to like send a message. I don't think they're trying to punish the specific guy,
Correct.
but like it's like the whole oligarchy, Russian oligarchy, to trying to punish everybody, trying to humiliate, the government, I would say. Yeah. So, how do you see this World Cup? So, the time is summertime. It's especially Mexico, northern Mexico, and United States is gonna be hot. As you know, it's summertime. It's
Yeah.
crazy hot.
It's already hot.
It gets hot in a specific place. For example, New Jersey can be hot
Yeah.
and humid. Texas,
Hot.
it can be one,
Humid,
especially
cool.
Houston.
Yeah. Houston.
Dallas is also hot. So, I think 12 stadiums. We have 3 stadiums that are air conditioned. So, SoFi Stadium in LA is actually, it's a newer stadium, and it's not, doesn't they don't close the ceiling and stuff. It's not fully enclosed, but it is. They have like a system to circulate the air and like cool
Yeah,
it
I don't
off.
think LA would be the problem.
Yeah, LA would not be the problem. Yeah, but Houston is fully
Houston
air
could be,
conditioned,
yeah.
and I think Dallas is fully air conditioned, and also a third stadium, which is good. And also, what do you think of this? For the first time, 3 countries hosted.
That's
This World
interesting to me.
So what's your take on that?
That was kind of interesting to me. I think we initially, my first thought was like, well, why can't one of us hold? Like, why does it have to spread over three countries to host it? Russia got it, Qatar got it, everybody, Brazil got it.
Yeah, but I think
it's not Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia,
2002, in 2002, Japan and Korea did it.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of like they kind of tested it before they do it.
Yeah, but we're large countries. Mexico is a large country, right?
Yeah,
Canada
that's true.
Right. Maybe
especially the U.S. can afford it.
Right. The U.S. could easily.
We have the
easily
infrastructure,
done
the stadiums, and everything else. But the thing is, if you notice, especially if you have 48 teams now, teams are practicing in college turfs. So I saw a couple of videos. For example, the Senegal national team, they're practicing and they didn't like the turfs, like the way the ball bounced, because it's not done for this level of
play,
sport.
Right. Yeah.
College sport, right? And also usually football.
Especially in the U.S.
Yeah, American football. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Exactly.
for American football, you don't have to worry about how the ball bounces on the turf.
Right.
So
and unfortunately in the U.S. we don't build soccer pitches, right? We build football stadiums where we get to play soccer on, right? It's
true.
Not so
true. Yeah.
kind of deal with that.
In that sense, we're blessed in our city. We have a lot of fields here to play, and actually
we do. I mean, they're not like European quality soccer fields,
but
just we have somewhere to play.
For community
degrees.
Yeah. But what was that?
Which is also difficult too, for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of bureaucracy if you want to play on those.
Right. We how long was it? This.
Yeah.
How long have we been looking for a field to play on? Even though there are fields.
Even if the one field close to us, it has 17 fields, right?
17 fields.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But in order for us to play a week, we can't.
It's
monumental, right?
And also they have requirement with insurance and all that kind of stuff.
It has to be an organization. It has to be insurance. We can't go in as a couple of friends and play a game. That's kind of where we're
that's
at.
something probably our city look into that.
Well, talking about in the worldview of the World Cup and the U.S. teams, and I think that's part of it too, because if you want to develop a sport, you have to give the opportunity to play.
Definitely.
And it's not also pay to play soccer here in the U.S., right? So if we really wanted those fields, we may be able to get them. Maybe if we get in line between behind the soccer moms and those organizations, right, who are also pay to play, right? It's the way it is in the United States, specific to soccer, is we don't play at a very high level, but to get to the high levels, we need more players.
True.
So you have to develop the sport early on, and you have to give them access. You don't have to pay for that access. That's the weird part to me, that you have to pay to play with a little ball on the
I think this is, I 100% agree with you. It's something that has to be done. I think it should come from the federal government, because America has 50 states, 50 laws, right? And then of course every state has its county. So if you go on that angle, it's just a headache. You can, problem you can't solve. But as a nation, to grow the sports, I think what should happen is, in my opinion, like you said, they should, open the door. Like you said, we have so many fields, we can access it. What I'm saying, as citizens of the city, and there's so much bureaucracy around it. And as you know, most of top soccer players in the world, they come from the streets.
Correct.
Go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil makes all those top players from the streets.
Ronaldinho's, right?
Exactly.
The Neymars.
We can go on. We can mention pretty much 100 players. They straight come from that. Even places like in Europe, in France is very common. On those futsal fields, they play, and then they evolve and do it. And not a lot of players are. Of course, I grew up in Africa, so we played in anywhere. In any land. We play without lights. We play until we can't see anymore. And actually, things are improving now, because football is an industry that kind of lifts a country's name. So because of that, and also of course, the countries get recognized by the international community because of their strength. You can see countries like Senegal, for example, which is a very small country.
Yeah.
With, they're well known, and then their players are playing abroad, getting paid a ton of money. Those players like Sadio Mane, for example,
Yeah.
coming back to their country, building schools, hospitals, and changing the community. So football has a ton of power, and I think countries definitely should utilize. Especially the United States is doing a lot right now. Since Lionel Messi arrived in the U.S., there's a lot of movement I see. But still, the MLS needs to grow. I think we're probably gonna get a little bit backlash from MLS fans, but
Maybe.
because sometimes you have to know where you are. I started watching MLS, and to be honest with you, it's hard to watch it once you watch those big competitions.
It is.
And we just have limited time, and like you have to allocate our time, and but of course we have to as Americans who have to still support our local city teams, and then keep pushing. But I think the government has to put more effort and more money into this, and loosen up some regulations to grow football, because as you know, the last time the Saudi club Al Nassr came and played with Inter Miami in Miami. So at that time, actually, it was supposed to be Ronaldo versus Messi, and Ronaldo actually didn't play that day, but Messi played. And I saw an interview of Ronaldo talking about Saudi league, for example. He said the Saudi league is above the French league in Europe. He said in the French league, there's only one strong team, and the rest are not that strong. And when he said that, I'm like, I kind of took it with a grain of salt, because
Well, it's true. PSG does dominate.
it's dominant, yeah. So, but if you go like on paper, go and see German league, like Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga 7 years in a row. Where does that happen? You know what I'm saying?
True. No, true.
Yeah, and on paper, but if you see Saudi, and I kind of like, yeah, I didn't follow the Saudi league that much, so I was skeptical when he said that. But Al Nassr came without Ronaldo and beat Inter Miami. I think they were like the winners last season, right?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So they beat them 6-0.
6-0.
6-0 by a Saudi team. So that tells you your position in football. And don't forget this. Messi is not the only player. They brought players from, former Barcelona players, right? Sergio Busquets was there.
Yeah.
Jordi Alba, I think, is one of them, and many more. And it's not like we're not heading on that, but sometimes that's like a reality check.
But also it's players who are sunsetting their careers that are coming. They're not bringing in,
You're right. They're not bringing prime talent.
Correct.
Of course.
Well, you
but
can't.
But Saudi is doing that. For example, if you take Al Nasser, they just bought like I don't know. I'm a Liverpool supporter. They just took like 5 Liverpool players. They're on their prime.
I would say
after
Saudis,
they win like the
Saudis
the
probably
Premier
have
League.
a different interest. Like you said, the it's a governmental issue. Like it's for them, it's something that they want to build as a nation, and that's what they're doing. I don't think that's the situation in the U.S. We kind of do.
Yeah.
We have other things, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think we're not focused on that, and I think if we invest more on that regard, I think when I see what they did with Messi, the deal he got, it shows you that they're on the same path with Saudi, because Ronaldo is getting paid a ton of money, like insane amount of money we have never heard of. And then he has ownership in a lot of things. And Messi also gets ownership.
Yes.
So definitely bringing Lionel Messi is the right move, and they did that. And of course.
Oh yeah, well, it is the right move. I think for as far as MLS goes, absolutely you have to, because that's how you draw interest, right? That's how you get people to watch Inter Milan. I mean,
Inter Miami,
right?
yeah.
I even piqued my curiosity too. And to be honest with you, I try to watch MLS as much as I could, but even in the first couple of games when I used to live in New York, I went to watch a Red Bulls game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I also said to myself, I could be on that field just as much.
So I don't want people to get offended. He's a good player, so I can I can be witness to that. So it's not a bad thing to say. You can play.
Well, I'm older now, but when I was younger, I could definitely play.
Yeah, you still play good. More than a lot of players on the field. We play every Friday, and of course that's something we really enjoy. Yeah, I agree with you. Of course, they brought players before, like I think the early times, like Robbie Keane from
Yeah.
the Ireland player. He was in
Well,
LA Galaxy.
Rudy came, right?
uh, Robbie Keane and Steven Gerrard was
Yep.
there. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was there.
Yeah, Zlatan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zlatan.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and still they have they have like Son is in LAFC now, the the newer team.
I mean, from what I've heard Zlatan say, he probably was not impressed with MLS, right? Because
Yeah.
he was pretty frustrated playing.
Yeah, but he has a little bit of ego,
That's
so
why, that's why we like Zlatan. That's
yeah.
why.
And have
there's
you heard?
only one. There's only one Zlatan.
I like him, man. There's only one. Have you heard what he did with LeBron James?
No.
So when he arrived in LA, of course, I think it's a gesture. LeBron James sent him his, I think he was playing for Lakers at the time, or maybe I don't know.
Oh, did he send him? I think I heard about this.
Yeah, and then he signed on his LeBron's and sent it back to.
That's
yeah.
legendary, right?
Yeah. He's funny. He's definitely a character.
Yeah, for sure.
I like him.
Well, he's
And
a
of
great player. He's an amazing player.
Hands down.
Athleticism,
Yeah, and
unbelievable.
I really admire his like acrobatic
yeah,
kicks.
unbelievable
the goals. I'm like,
athleticism.
nobody else can
No,
do that.
no,
and
no.
I think
he's unique in that.
he still holds the record for like for the longest bicycle kick goal.
Oh yeah, I
like
mean
for
some of the stuff you watch the highlights of. It's
yeah, it's
unbelievable.
just impossible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's just crazy how it is, and of course now we're getting like I think a little bit premium talent. Like it used to be like a retirement home from Europe, MLS, but now I think they are like getting before they're like retirement.
I think
All
no.
right,
I think there's definitely been a lot improvement.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be just the players. It's going to be coaches,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, the national team has to do better.
Mm-hmm.
But hope
Yeah.
this year will be a year where we can do a lot more and really put ourselves back on the map there.
Yeah, we're rooting for, of course, the U.S. national team, and actually, to be honest, to give them credit, we have to. They hired a good coach, Pochettino, which is, he pretty much coached major teams across Europe, and on top of that, our top players take, we're wearing a Pulisic jersey,
Yeah.
He's playing for AC Milan.
Yeah, but
I'm wearing a McKennie jersey. He's playing for Juventus.
Absolutely.
Like these are players that are playing in top league.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of players playing everywhere in top leagues. That's a huge thing. And I think when they come and play for the national team, at least more than half of our squad is playing in a top level of football on the first team.
Right, and I think that's the biggest point. Like you have to get the entire team on that level, right?
Mhm.
You can't have a spread where the two guys are head and shoulders above the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So that's the big. You have to build a coalition of the team that's on the same level. That way, it's not,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think sometimes teams buy players like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, and they
Well-
build a team around them.
You could do that, and,
Yeah.
and then there's different reasons why they would do that, and obviously they bring in a lot of dollars too. There's always money involved in that.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But really, if you look at their last World Cup, was Ronaldo really there because he was a great player? I mean, he was. I'm not saying he's not,
Yeah,
but what did he do for Portugal? Not as much as you would have hoped, especially that it was probably could have been his last World Cup.
yeah. But Ronaldo was he's a symbol of Portugal. So
Correct, but that's more of a political reason. I think they
Yeah.
probably would have come out ahead had he
yeah,
not been on the
but
field.
you can't just not
Right,
quote
you
Ronaldo.
cannot put him in there.
It's
can't.
yeah.
Like, he did
It
a
would be
lot.
like outrage. It's like he's a legend, disrespecting him.
Correct,
And,
but
and to be honest, that guy still tries. And one thing I admire about Ronaldo is like he has that same mentality with Kobe Bryant, right? So basically, hard work, beats talent, right? So you might be born with a talent. Like take Lionel Messi, right? Lionel Messi is like that kid was born with that talent.
yeah, something special.
Yeah, he's special. It's out of this world. But Cristiano Ronaldo is competing with him by
You don't think Cristiano Ronaldo has talent?
no. But this is his own words, okay? he works twice as hard as a regular player.
I don't disagree with that, but I
Mhm.
think also like don't take his talent away
No,
from
no,
him.
no.
I'm not
Of
saying you're
course,
taking the talent
of
away.
course,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that had he not been talented also,
Oh, no, no question.
he would not have
But
been
he was not
Ronaldo.
like naturally. I don't think he was naturally, in my opinion, he was naturally just gifted as Messi. If you see Messi, right, he doesn't even run. He's
Well,
just chilling in the
to,
midfield.
to me, Messi, in my head, Messi time travels because Messi sees things before they happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see Messi dribble. That's how I see Messi positioning. That's how I see he reads the game so well that he
Mhm.
knows what are you going to do before you even know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's the difference in Messi. I think.
Yeah, but I think Ronaldo is of course faster,
Well,
and
he's
then
a great athlete.
yeah, he's a great athlete. Of course,
He's genetically gifted. He's
Mhm.
tall. He's strong.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, there are attributes. Like I will promise you that I can work twice as hard as Ronaldo, and I will
Mhm.
never be Ronaldo.
Yeah, of course. Like what I'm saying is, I only mentioned the hard work part when I compared with him, Messi. Of course, you have to be talented. You saw him. I saw him when he played his first game for Manchester United, and you can tell that kid is gifted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, just watching the first game, you can tell he is different. No question about that. But I saw a video footage of the gym at Al Nasser. Okay, and I'm not like trying to insult other players, but he's playing with some players like Sadio Mane, others, but and then a bunch of nobodies, right? Basically, like we don't know their name. When I say that, I don't want to disrespect the players, but but despite doing that, on the security footage of the gym at Al Nasser, when I watched it, everybody's gone home. Guess who's the only person in the gym working out? Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's an ethic. Absolutely.
He's already ahead, but guess what? He's still putting more work, and that's just something amazing. That's out of this world work ethic,
100%.
and of course adding it to the talent he's given to. And also, I think I want to add one point about Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not just a football player, right? Just see Lionel Messi. He doesn't give interviews. He doesn't. I've never seen him speak a single word in English. Especially when you're like playing for so many years in international leagues, he kind of have to. He doesn't want to. He doesn't try.
Right.
But Cristiano has been working on that, and then he improved, and then he pushes people. He motivates people. He's always that leader guy, and also his philanthropy is also one of the things.
Yeah.
He does a lot of things for the world. So definitely, if you compare him like as humans, definitely by far, I don't know Messi personally, but Ronaldo is, way ahead of, a lot of players, I would say, including Messi.
I think they're both legendary players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Cristiano Ronaldo definitely does a lot for the for the sport, for the world. Definitely somebody is a role model in
Yeah,
many ways. And yeah, and I get your point about hard work. Absolutely, when you see somebody like that in the gym working that hard, that's inspiring, right?
Definitely. It's just, and let's come back to this World Cup. And what do you think is, which team will be the favorite? Or
I'm gonna go with Spain this year.
okay, the good. I would say Spain has a good. France, Spain has good chance, I would say, but I think you have to see one team that's overlooked, which is Netherlands.
Netherlands is, honestly, like I've been a Netherlands fan I even have a Netherlands jersey. I don't know if you see me wear it, but I've been a big fan of Netherlands for so long, and I think they're great. They're definitely due. Hopefully, they can get it, get somewhere this year for sure. But I always feel like just watching the last couple of World Cups, it was like almost on just on a small,
Yeah,
just almost there, but not.
yeah. I think Norway is also some other country to look at because they have a lot of superstars, and if you have seen in Champions League, their Norwegian teams did really really well, beating the bigger teams, and I think they would surprise us, in my opinion, and of course African teams. I saw the friendly games. Senegal has a lot of disorganization in the team. We saw the African Cup of Nations and everything for the finals and stuff, and still that gap is there. They haven't fixed it. They had a friendly game with the U.S. They lost, I think, 3-2. They need to fix that. From Africa, Senegal, I think they'll be favorable. Egypt is also another strong team because they have a lot of superstars, including Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Mo Salah.
Yeah, Mo Salah, and of course the U.S. The U.S. I think will surprise us this year, and I hope
so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah, and I think given we have the right coach, and this time we never had this many players playing in Europe or on that level, and now we have all that, and that coach knows how to work with that level of talent,
Yeah.
and that's my hope. And of course Brazil, because Carlo Ancelotti is the coach now, so Brazil always have talent, but they don't have that.
Brazil. So I think, since I was a kid, I was a Brazil fan,
Mm-hmm.
and my favorite players are Brazilian players.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest with you, they fell off for me so hard
I know.
over the last 10
I
years.
think what was that? 2000. What was that? 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
Germany. Yeah, it was a disbelief.
That was a disaster.
Yeah, because it was
But,
Brazil.
Well, not because I don't think it's just because of Brazil, because they changed how they play, right? Because to
Mhm.
me, that beautiful game that they used to play was no longer the team mentality anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when that was gone,
Yeah.
then everything else was gone. When Hugo Benito
Yeah.
didn't exist anymore, then the team fell off too. And you can have Neymar, and you can have these amazing players,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's about individual talent rather than the game, that's how you
Yeah.
collapse.
True.
And that's what
Uh,
happened. That's what
I
I
think,
think happened in Germany.
And also, like, the coaches matter. So if we go back to '98, I think it was in '98 they won they beat France on the final. '98 France won actually with Brazil.
Yes,
Yeah. 2002 is Brazil won.
Brazil.
Okay, 2002 Korea Japan. So at the time Scolari was the coach.
Yep.
So he's a dominant figure. So when you are managing those many talents, and it comes with those people are like celebrities. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of money. So they don't need that. You got my point? So you need that kind of tough, father figure kind of coach to kind of help them navigate. They have to be a little strict. So because if we go to La Liga, right, the problem with Real Madrid is that. So the players are the one, player first team. So the coaches don't get respected. Literally, I don't know if you saw when Barcelona won, I think it's some cup. And so Xabi Alonso was the coach of Real Madrid and telling them to, stay in line. And everybody, players said that, no, I'm not going to listen to you. Literally disrespected them in front of the fans, in front of the world. So, but the club doesn't enforce that. The Galactico mentality, they don't enforce, they don't have a rule and they don't enforce it on players.
Right. They don't want to. They want the players.
I understand, but if you don't have, if you don't respect the coach, and of course the temporary coach, the same thing happened, and now of course Jose Mourinho is coming, which is known as this kind of coach, which I really like, the special one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he will kind of put them in their place. So my hope is now Carlo Ancelotti is the coach of the Brazil national team, and because of that, he will know how to manage those superstars. You know what I'm saying? He's the one who handpicked them, so he's the one, and he already coached them in clubs. A lot of players, If you take Vini, I think he is a little bit hard to manage. He has
Right. That's what
Yeah.
happened. Really, with Brazil, the egos got too big.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Brazil,
Mhm.
because the Brazil was built. I mean, they were young when Brazil was really like on
Mhm.
top, right?
Yeah,
And then so you kind of on that name, you're a Brazilian player, you are a superstar, you're amazing, but that gets to your head so quickly.
so quick. Yeah, it's just. I think the leagues and the coaches and the clubs have to be more strict. The organization is always bigger than a player.
Right.
We've seen it. We've supported our teams, and then I don't know how many players came and left. Somebody joined your team, that's your new player.
Yeah.
You just accept them, move on. For example, I'm a Liverpool fan. Our coach just left, and we have a new coach. That's it. Just like that, it's like you're not your ex-girlfriend, right?
Right.
You don't think about it once it's gone, you know. So that's how it is. So I think the clubs are going to be there, the players and the coaches change. So I think given understanding that, they should focus on that than the player
I
ego.
think kind of that's where Premier League shines in that way because it's an establishment, right?
Yeah,
It's
true.
that's where you see that I think the most out of everybody. It's not just about the
Yeah.
players.
So actually, there's one topic I want to mention about the Premier League, which is they enforce they do selective enforcing when it comes to like point deductions and stuff. So to mention that, of course, Manchester City's on the spot on this one. So of course they have so many violations, purchasing players, outside of the allowed budget and all that kind of stuff. And if they've been postponing the enforcement, and then when they postpone it, of course, Manchester City has been collecting all these trophies along the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know how many years that Man City won the Premier League, while the other teams like Liverpool or Arsenal was like a point or like 3 points behind. So
Yeah.
if the point deductions happen, like when it's a club like Everton, they just do the deduction like right away. You know what I'm saying? And then they were protesting actually. The Everton fans want one game they were holding Premier League corrupt sign to the stadium, because the rule applies to
Right, and
them.
that's the problem. Once
Yeah.
you start applying the rules, differently to different,
Yeah.
then the whole system collapses. right?
Exactly. It's like you can have a law, you can have a constitution. If you don't enforce it,
Right.
there's no point of
Correct.
having it in
Or-
the first
yes,
place.
Exactly.
If it has to be enforced, and then when you enforce it, you don't do selective enforcing. You have to enforce it all the way. That's the problem. And I think when now, of course, Pep Guardiola left, and we know the English Premier League is going to be next season is going to be neck to neck, because Arsenal is in a very good shape. Liverpool has a new coach. I think Arne Slot was the problem this season. He had multiple chances to fix it. He didn't do it. And Manchester United is like on fire, So they just like Michael Carrick came, and then he just flipped the team in the first, starting from the first game, and like they've been on fire since that time. And you can tell it's a solid team,
Yeah.
And it was a coaching problem. And even Tottenham, has more players, and then replaced their coach. So given all that, I think the next season English Premier League is going to be very, very competitive. I believe
I think it's going to be an exciting season.
it's
for sure.
exciting. I think the most exciting season yet. But when it comes to Manchester City, I don't think they will stand a chance, because I'll tell you, they still have players and stuff, but a legend like Pep Guardiola leaving the team.
Yeah, it wasn't about the players individually. It was
Yes.
definitely the coach.
And
can
you
see-
know
can
he's
see
one
how-
of a
You
kind.
can see that in the game itself.
He's one
It's-
of a kind. We know it.
Yeah.
I think if you ask me, other coaches that would compete with him probably be Alex Ferguson, and him. I'll just put two of them on top. And of course, in the I wasn't in that era, but like Liverpool coach like Big Shankly, those people were like were good on that time. But anyways, now and other thing is like, of course, the States, it's hard to talk about anything without adding politics.
Right.
And one of the things I think Pep Guardiola left Manchester City, his reason was like he was claiming that he's tired. He don't have it in him anymore. But don't forget this. So when the genocide happened in Gaza, and everybody's staying silent, the only voice in the football world was Pep Guardiola. He didn't have to do it, but he did. He was wearing his kafaya and then going out on stage speaking, against this again and again. And then I think there was one, they won, I think, the Carabao Cup or something, not the season, the season previous. And there was, I think, one Israeli official who was going to give them a medal, and then he refused to shake his hand. So it was all over, social media and stuff. He avoided him, and then he even made other players avoid to shake his hand. He shook his hand of everybody. So he's like a voice, and I really admire about him because, you get measured. He has everything. He has the money. He has the fame. He has the skill. He's on top of the world, and at that time of level, at that level, trying to look out for the one who's on the not on the upper hand, it's very important, I think. And a lot of people should do it, and he did it, and now here the politics comes. Okay, so at the time when he was doing that, so as you know, Manchester City is owned by the royal family of UAE, right, Abu Dhabi. So UAE and Israel, they were like adjusting their relationship. So previously Israelis were not allowed to go to any Arab countries, pretty much,
Right.
Including
Correct.
UAE,
Yeah.
Dubai. They can't do that.
Yeah.
Now they, because of the Abraham Accord, they started normalizing relationships,
Yeah.
especially with the Gulf countries.
Yeah.
And when they do that, it was things were going good. But now, because of the current war with Iran, what happened is the UAE is actually working with Israel. So recently, the IDF, for the first time ever, went to UAE and put on the Iron Dome, system, military system. You know what I'm saying? So that happened. That means it puts UAE and Israel in the same line.
Right. I mean, there's this geopolitical shift.
So how does it work? Pep Guardiola speaking about the atrocities in Gaza, and at the same time, Israel and UAE are on the same bed.
Well, I mean, that's where the politics comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and I think his motive was not just I'm tired. I think he can do more. We're gonna see him. He'll be going to some other league, and he's still gonna crush it. He has more to give.
Maybe.
Coaching is not like playing. You're not gonna be running. It's just a mental game, and of course, you can run out of like energy, like in terms of like motivation, all that kind of stuff. But he has all the motivation to do it. The fans love him. He's a legend. No question. He did it for like 10 years.
Sometimes it's when you're on top. You just maybe that's when you hang your hat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I know, but the timing is like a little bit, a little bit funny because the war just started recently, and then there was no rumor of like him living and stuff, and like he just, I don't believe on coincidences. So this podcast, we just being a little soft now because it's World Cup, right? So we're gonna dive into politics in the future episode. So we're gonna leave that for that. The other one is, of course, the wild card, the Iranian team, a football team.
So yeah, so they're in the World Cup, and that's
Yes, they are,
great,
yeah.
right? So
What do you make of like some of the team members, like there was photographers, team leaders, they didn't get a visa.
well, see, there we go. That's the same part.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be any restrictions on the soccer
If you,
teams coming
yeah.
to participate in the World Cup.
If you don't want to give a visa, just don't host.
Well, yeah. Besides, these are not
Yeah.
permanent visas. We're just bringing a participant of our own tournament to play, right?
Yeah.
And not being that's crazy to me. They should all, if you're a host, then you have to act like a host,
Exactly.
right?
That's that. We well said. A host is like something. It's big.
You have a responsibility.
Exactly. If you're a host,
Host.
do your job. Exactly.
Correct.
Don't like and also like even the Iraqi team members. They were some of them. The photographers like grilled for like 5 hours. Another one for 7 hours. And I don't think it's and of course we live in an era of like ICE, immigration, whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do on this, but I hope we don't ruin our name. Doing those kind of
I don't.
stuff.
To be honest with you, even China handles it, right? So
Yeah.
when officials need to go there, or where sports teams go there, they go there, right?
Mhm.
Same thing happened in the Soviet Union when there were during the Olympics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go there and you have an entourage with you the entire time if they're that concerned,
Yeah.
right? But you don't restrict them, and then you don't restrict their movements. Like you should be able to come to the
Yeah.
U.S. to play because that's what you're there for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's
Yeah,
fair.
I 100% agree with you, and I think the Iranian government also ordered them not to stay in the U.S. So apparently now they're gonna play. They'll be staying in Mexico, Tijuana, I believe, which is the closest town to the U.S. And then they will be traveling back and forth after each game. Which is not as long as they go to the East Coast, it wouldn't be that
I
much.
mean, I don't know I don't know who's gaining. Like, what are you gaining out of that?
So don't forget this. This is an ongoing active war. Literally, like it was today or yesterday, they were like shooting missiles.
I get it.
Yeah.
But that's this. That's to me. This is what sports is about. This is what the World Cup is about. It's supposed to transcend all that.
Yeah.
Because this is, even in a world full of disunity, this is how we unite.
Yeah, 100% agree.
And I think this is the reason for this tournament. And this is why I don't like politics being injected into these tournaments, because then we forget all these wars, all these missiles being dropped. We miss one thing. It's about the people. It's not the people going to war. Like, I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't, governments go to war. People don't go to war.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is a people's sport. This is for the people. This is not for governments.
Yes.
And when we start suppressing that and making it about something else, then we all lose as humanity. It's not about politics. It's about sports. But we forget. That's why we watch. We forget about everything that's going on. We want to watch somebody kick a soccer ball.
Well said.
Right?
Well said. And I think that's pretty much you summarized our entire episode, in one paragraph. Yeah. Definitely, because that's what it is. We're all humans, and government starts war, not people. We just get dragged into them. We pay for them.
We pay for them.
We die for them.
We die for them.
Yeah,
right?
we lose family member over them.
Correct.
And then, but it's just a game happening on the top floor. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, which we have nothing to do with. And the people, they don't hit each other.
Right.
They actually, I'm glad these days, countries understand. Like, the people, like, oh, I saw this Iranian being interviewed by Al Jazeera. They say, we don't hate Americans. Americans are, as they're victim as us. They say the American people, they don't have power to do anything. And I like that, because separating the government with the people is very important, because sometimes you just get put in the same bucket, and which you pay for something they haven't done.
Correct. I mean, you can't judge somebody just based on their nationality, based on what their current government is doing. That's
true.
That's pretty much as prejudice you're gonna get, right?
you can be kind of questioned based on your outlook. Some people support wars and all that kind of stuff, but I think people should stop and observe and also do research. I think that's one thing that lacks from us. I think we're watch fixed channels. You know what I'm saying? Certain red people, the red side watch certain channels, the blue side watch certain, and then apparently in America you have to be red or blue.
Well, that's what they want us to think,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's the case. And to be honest with you, even with the research, we don't have enough information to make any, because we just don't get that information. We don't know the real underlying reasons. We're not in that circle. At least most of us aren't. So it's very hard. You can regurgitate things that you hear on social media in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
But that's all on this bottom level.
Yeah.
We never get to the top level of why things happen, where the money goes, how it all goes in. So we can disagree on stupid things, but generally, that's one thing you unite. Like when we play soccer together, I don't know your politics, you don't know my politics, and it really doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't. We actually never discuss. Sometimes we might look a little bit different from each other.
Oh,
Like I say, hey, where you from? I'm from Russia.
And that's how we got to talking too. Yeah, I was curious where you're from.
Yeah, and of course, we kind of suspect, the way you play even matters. I saw what that boxer Jake Paul.
Yeah,
I saw him kicking a soccer ball, and then it was just funny, a fully grown man, how he kicks the ball. And then I saw the comments. Of course, people are like, that's exactly how American, if somebody's American, how they kick the ball. So of course we have to change that. It's our responsibility, and we see actually when we play at the parks, we see the younger generation starting playing soccer at the early age, which is very good, and also, now popularity has grown. I'm actually surprised. So 2016 was the last time the U.S. played in the World Cup, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it wasn't. I remember. And at that time, there was a movement.
There was a lot of enthusiasm. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean 2014.
No, it wasn't.
14.
Yeah, 14.
14, yeah.
16,
So there was a lot of movement.
Definitely.
And then we didn't qualify for the next one, and it kind of died. I'm like, if that momentum continued, we'll be, I think, in a much, much better place. But I think in schools, for example, kids are playing, soccer on a regular basis. You know, it's a
I
sport.
hope so, but I think culturally we're dominant in different sports, right? And we're very different from the rest of the world.
True.
You
But we
know,
still call ourselves world champions when we win.
oh, of course,
Those-
yes. It's the World Series, right? Nobody else plays it, but it is the
That's
World
funny,
Series.
you gotta be, you're USA, so you gotta be number one on everything. So I think with soccer, I know football takes, especially like certain demographic. Let's take
Oh.
African Americans. They tend to go basketball,
Football, basketball.
football, basketball, and the white population goes with baseball. And now Asian and Hispanics are heavy on baseball because, if you know, Dominicans are
Dominicans
actually
are big in
pretty big on that one. And then of course when you have a role model, you tend to join in that sector. And of course now Otani is in Dodgers, and a lot of Asian kids are like really inspired, and it's something that you wouldn't see coming basically. And then he's one of you know great players in the game has ever seen. I think I'm not a baseball fan.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's what I heard. Guilty, right? But we only have so much time. We can't be watching like some just soccer by itself.
Oh,
How many
soccer's
tournaments?
Impossible. Soccer is impossible to keep track of.
Imagine like you watch
never
like
stops.
on weekend. Yeah, you watch La Liga. There's Serie A, and then there's
Well,
English Premier League,
You got all the South
and
American
then all
leagues
the-
as well too.
and then of course international.
You got the Mexican league.
Yeah, Champions League. Yeah,
MLS.
Yeah. On that note, actually, what do you think of Mexico has been struggling in the past couple of World Cups?
I know, and I was actually very hopeful for Mexico. My wife's
Mhm.
Mexican, so we support the Mexican team. I always like to,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, but they had some issues too, and I think this. My memory is going now, but like I think there was some issues. Like some of their players last time in the World Cup, they didn't get to participate in the World Cup. Was it Yamas Rodriguez? Was it that didn't make the cut due to some weird circumstances?
Yeah, I haven't followed that.
Yeah,
But I think I remember last World Cup they got beat by Argentina, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but they played really well. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that-
I remember.
I
watched
think they
that
have
game.
a lot of potential to
Mhm.
be there.
Yeah,
for
especially
sure.
playing in front of their fans. It brings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing home,
Yeah.
right? You definitely have a talent set for sure
Mhm.
because those a lot of great Mexican players. I think.
Yeah.
So hopefully something will happen there.
Yeah, I remember. Mexican players were like really they played beautiful football back in the days. And I remember Campos was like the goalkeeper. I believe he's the most
Yeah.
popular one
Yep.
with this.
It's my wife's last name, Campos. Yeah.
Yeah, his last name is Campos. Yeah, usually we call Messi, right?
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
Campos,
You tend to call them. And actually, I I heard an article like, in the U.S. we call every male politician by their last name, but the female we call them by first name. Have you noticed that?
No, I actually haven't. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So Trump, you say Trump. Biden, right?
Yeah.
But you say Kamala. You don't say Harris. You say
Well, so I think that's the opposite because if you look at it that way, Harris is a common name, but Kamala is not.
and actually, I think that it's because they take their husband's last name. So when they get married, so Hillary took Bill Clinton's last name, right?
But you still say Clinton.
No.
And I think you also differentiate Hillary because it's not Bill.
Yeah, you're right. It can be confusion, but in Kamala's side. So, anyways, we're trying to avoid politics, but just trying to break down that thing. We tend to call them by their last name, and sometimes it's off because I watch, for example, a Liverpool players interview, and then when they talk about their colleague, I'm like, they've called them by first name, and I'm like, who's that? I'm like, oh, okay, I call them by last name. We, all the fans call them by last name, but the players call each other on their first name because they know, they're friends. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's going to be an exciting World Cup, and it will also be controversial, of course, because of whatever's happening, with the immigration, and stuff.
We'll see.
With the tension.
I hope that goes to the side of this. I hope it doesn't
Yeah.
overshadow anything in the World Cup.
And
The
one
water bottle ban is weird, though. I thought.
one point to mention is, there was, so this is LGBTQ month, I think, in the U.S., right? The
Is
month
it?
of June.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and of course, one of the place, Seattle is a very progressive place.
Yes.
And then that's very LGBTQ friendly city. And I heard there's one game happening, Iran versus Egypt, two Muslim nations playing in Seattle. And at that time, the fans has a plan to fill the stadium with rainbow flags. And I don't know. I think people,
See, but again, that's a political statement.
it,
Right?
it is, it is. And
Are you there to fill the stadium with rainbow flags, or are you there to watch the game?
yeah,
That's my
I
question.
think, it's provoking, and I think we should respect each other's boundaries. We can be whatever you
That's
want
right.
in your own place.
You're
and-
a host.
yeah,
remember?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
it, right. So you have
And-
to be hospitable to other nations. just as
Exactly.
much as you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Definitely.
mean,
Respectful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially,
have to be
it
respectful.
comes down to respecting others' culture and religion. I
Correct.
think. Yeah, and it comes down to that, and hopefully we don't see those controversial things. But I think that's one of the things that I'm.
You're probably right. I think it will.
Yeah.
It probably something like that might happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think again that's just going to take away from something that's
Yeah.
that's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for coming, and,
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
I
my
can't believe
pleasure. It's a good
finished
conversation.
our episode. We can go for another an hour and an hour.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, hopefully you'll join us in the
Oh,
coming
yeah.
episode.
Sounds good.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good talking to you. Bye.